Good morning, everyone. Mario Quintero here with the One Stop Shop, produced by marioshomenews.com. Today, I have the privilege of speaking with Lillian Sir, the principal owner of Sir and Associates, specializing in different parts of the law. Lillian, thanks for coming by.
Thank you for having me.
And we appreciate you being here and communicating some of your services to our followers.
Absolutely.
So why don't we start with Sir and Associates. Tell us a little bit about Sir and Associates.
Sir and Associates is a boutique law firm, and we provide services to private individuals and business owners. We focus our practice on small and mid-sized businesses, and we provide a full range of services, providing our clients with a one-stop shop approach, from corporate and real estate to intellectual property, which includes patents and trademarks, litigation, and trust and estates and wealth management.
So I know that you're basically a full service firm, but today we're going to focus on residential and commercial law, specifically commercial leasing.
Okay.
I'm sure we'll have you back and talk about some of the other subjects in the future.
Very
because
good.
Commercial leasing itself, there's a lot of information there.
Sure, absolutely.
So talk to us a little bit, explain the difference between full service versus triple net.
Absolutely. A full service lease is you're provided with a per square foot rent, and that includes all your services, your utilities, taxes, and insurance for the building that you're in. When you have a triple net lease, you're paying solely for your space, and then you typically are charged on a pro rata basis depending on your square footage to cover all the expenses of the building, such as, again, real estate, insurance, and property taxes. Also maintenance of the outside of the building, lawn maintenance, any security, anything like that.
So in a lease, especially a commercial lease, there are other costs involved, such as improvements and other matters. Can you talk to us a little bit about that aspect of the lease?
Sure. It's very important when shopping for a commercial space to keep in mind what tenant improvement allowances the landlord might provide you. So, for example, if you are moving into a space that was previously a salon, and you now want to turn that into a restaurant, there's going to be quite a bit of improvements that you're going to have to do. And building out a kitchen, for example, is quite an expensive proposition. Any kitchen can run you, depending on the size, from $70,000 to $500,000 or more, depending on the restaurant and the operation. And the landlord, depending on the landlord's circumstances, how full the building is, the length of the lease that you are negotiating, will provide tenant improvement dollars to assist you in getting that accomplished. The going rate for commercial space, especially in the A buildings, will be half a month's rent for every year. That's sort of the going average.
So we've done a few commercial leases in the past, and I know how important it is to have an attorney represent the person leasing the property, because some of these leases are 40 to 50 pages long. Can you talk to us about how critical it is to have attorney representation go over all this verbiage?
It is incredibly important, and no one that I've dealt with over the years as a business owner really wants to sit down and read through 70 pages of a lease. There's a lot of legalese in those pages, and you tend to gloss over as you're reading it. But it's very important to read the fine print in these leases, because although that you go in with hoping to be successful, and sure that you're going to be successful, sometimes you are not successful. Sometimes something happens with the economy, and you have to be able to, one, have a way out. Two, you want to protect yourself and your business, for example, with an exclusivity clause. If you are opening up a nail salon and you are going into a shopping center that is, a fairly large shopping center, the landlord is free to lease the spaces to whoever he or she wants to lease to. And so you don't want another salon popping up right next to you or within the same shopping center, because that's going to take business away from you. So you want to make sure that you negotiate an exclusivity clause against any other nail salon. That goes for any business that you might want to have in a shopping center. You also might want to think about a radius restriction when you're dealing with large landlords, such as in a mall. If you want to open a space at Dadeland right here in our backyard, that mall is owned by Simon Property Group. That is one of the biggest shopping center landlords in the country. We work with several retailers that have stores across the country, and what these major landlords do is they will impose radius restrictions so that you cannot go and open up at a competing center. For us here in Dadeland, there might be a radius restriction against going into Bal Harbor or up in Aventura, or even if you're an outlet store, there are several outlet malls here in South Florida. And so you have to be careful with those radius restrictions, because you may want to go into another store eventually, another mall.
Okay, so Lillian, if any of our viewers out there are looking for an experienced commercial leasing attorney, what is the best number that they can reach you at?
Our office number is 305-222-7282.
Okay, so you just talked about Simon Mall at Dadeland, and once in a while I go in there and I see these little carts in the middle of the aisle. Do those people require a commercial lease also?
They do, and actually I negotiated one of those a few years ago. And landlords like Simon and other big ones in these malls will have programs that are put together for smaller mom and pop companies that may not have the experience to go into Dadeland, which is really a profitable location to be, or they may want to try something out within the mall, a new type of food vendor or a new service that later on they can incorporate into the food court or another freestanding space. Those leases differ in that they're typically not long-term, and they will have a kick-out clause. Where the landlord can kick you out basically for whatever reason. So you have to be very careful to negotiate that, and or at least be aware of the fact that the landlord within the 30-day period can say, hey, this is not working out. Adios.
Okay. So can you tell us a little bit about, during this process when you're representing a client in a commercial lease, how you assist them with permitting?
Yes. When I first started practicing law, I worked for two major law firms, Schutz & Bone and Greenberg Traurig, and all I did was land use and zoning. And that is the type of law where you are working with government agencies, municipalities, counties, as far as obtaining permits, obtaining the proper zoning for your property. So we assist our business clients when they are looking for, in order to move their business or starting. Most especially in the medical arena, we do work closely with doctors and clinics, because you can't just have a medical use anywhere. That's a very high intense use. Same thing with restaurants. It's very important to have the proper zoning. And not only is it the proper zoning that you need to have in place, but you need to think about impact fees with the county. And those impact fees are provided, for fire, for roads. The biggest one though is with DERM, which is the Environmental Resource Management Department for the county. And for medical and restaurant use especially, those are high uses and major impact uses. And so if you are moving a restaurant into a space that was previously office, your impact fees can be enormous. And many times, if you don't do your due diligence prior to signing that lease, you're going to be into your permit process with your construction drawings, and you're going to get sometimes $100,000 or $200,000 bill from Durham for those impact fees.
Might be out of business before you start.
You might be, or you typically would not have budgeted for that, or you're going to have to get financing for that. So it's very important to do that due diligence up front.
Wow. So the last topic we would like to discuss today is lease assignment. Can you talk to us a little bit about lease assignment? And is that part of getting out of the lease?
Yes, and that is something that is very important to negotiate in the lease. First, you want to be able to assign that lease. Typically, especially with a bigger landlord, there will be a whole host of factors that the landlord will have in there. So you'll see language that the lease is assignable, that the landlord cannot unreasonably withhold its permission to assign the lease. However, the prospective tenant will have to meet certain financial requirements or certain experience requirements. It could be a different number of factors. Also, what a lot of landlords want to do is hold your feet to the fire. Yes, we'll go ahead and allow you to assign, but you're going to have to continue to be on the hook for the new person. You really do not want to have that in your lease. You want to be able to assign it and get rid of that liability and walk away. And also, we have to put in provisions where you can sell your business to someone else, and that becomes an approved transfer. Again, you do not want to stay on the hook. You do not want to be liable for the new owner.
Got it. So if someone would like to reach you to discuss this topic, consult on this, or consult on any other legal matters, what is the best number to reach you?
Again, my office number is 305-222-7282. You can also go to our website at www.sir-associates.com, or you can contact me at lily@sir-associates.com, and that's Lily with 2 L's.
Got it. Thank you for coming by here today to the
Thanks.
One-Stop Shop. We really appreciate you coming, and I know we're going to talk about bringing you back for other topics, especially small business and other matters that your firm specializes in, and we really appreciate the information that you're giving to our viewers. So this is Mario Quintero once again with the One-Stop Shop. Our referral partner spotlight today has been Lillian Sir, principal owner of the Sir and Associates Attorney Group, and we hope you have a fantastic day and a great week. Thank you.
Thank you.